So on this part, we're going to look at multiplying. Now, I warn you in advance, to begin with, this is a fairly mind-blowing process that becomes quite easy with a bit of time and practice. But to start with, it looks horrendous, the idea of multiplying, the steps you have to do. It'll become, the only way really to demonstrate this is to show it, but there's one rule to start with that we need to be mindful of, and it's this one, that the product of two matrices can only be found when the number of columns, so that's the bits going up, of the left matrix equals the number of rows going across of the right matrix. So A, B, C, for example. So what that means is that this one can multiply this. Okay, because it's got the same number of columns as it's got rows. Not only can it multiply that one, it can also multiply this one, because the same reason applies. 2 columns, 2 rows. But B times C is not allowed because you've got 3 columns, 2 rows. Now there's a way of writing a way that helps, that I find really helps, is to write down the size. So let's have a look at A and B, A times B. So A is a 3 times 2. This one is a 2 times 3. And this one is a 2 times 2. So what you do is, if you want to times A times B, for example, then we look at the inside numbers. If these are the same, then it's good. It's good to go. And then incidentally, the result, I'll do this in a different colour, the result is this times this. Okay, so we'll end up with a 3b3 when we do that one, if we did that one. Okay, now this one, if I want to do this one, let me just shuffle that over. So I've got, this one would be a 3 times 2 times in a 2 by 2. So that one, so that's that one times that one. So again, everything's happy, and we get, in this result, we get a 3b2 result. Now if I do it with this one B, so if I want B times C, B is a 2 times 3. Okay, and you look at that, they don't agree. So okay, so it doesn't matter what the other two numbers, the outer ones, mean, because you can't do it anyway. Okay, so probably the best way of doing this is to do an example. Well, it's the only way to get this. So keep that in mind. That's very important. So I'll pick one off my notes in case I mess up, which is my trademark. Okay, so let's say A equals 4 by 2 and B equals 376 5 2 minus 1. Okay. So let's have a look. Firstly, am I allowed to do it? Let's have a look. So this is a 2b2. A 1b2. So 1 times 2. And this one is a 2 times 3. Okay, so these agree. And then my result will be a 1 by 3. So just one column. Okay, let's have a look. So the technique is, do it in a different colour. The technique is, the only way you can do it is do it, really. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this and we're going to multiply it by this row here. And then we're going to take this and multiply it by this row. Then we're going to take this and multiply it by this row. But you can't, it's not like cross multiplying when you're doing multiplying out brackets, for example. So let me have a look. So let's say, so A times B is going to give me, so 4 times 3. That's going to be my first result, part of my first result. And then 2 times 5. So it's going to be added together, 2 times 5. Okay, and then I move along. So I've done that, I'm now going to do that times the next one. I say I get a column, I won't, I'll get a row. So then it's 4 times 7. 4 times 7, and then 2 times 2, plus 2 times 2. I recommend, especially obviously at the beginning, but I recommend writing out all your steps very carefully. And then finally, we've got 4 times 6, and then we've got 2 times minus 1. So that's plus 2 times minus 1. Put it in brackets just to show the minus sign. Okay, so let's do them a bit of tidying up. So I've got 12 plus 10. I've got 4 sevens, 28, plus 4. And I've got 4 sixes, 24. And this is a negative, so negative 2. So my end result, so A, B gives me 22, 28 and 4 is 32, and 24 minus 2 is 22 as well. Okay, so it worked as it said it would, and we got the result that we said it would, 1 row by 3 columns. Okay, not a very tall column, but there you go. Let's have a look at another one. And all we can do at this stage is do a few examples, and then the only way you can really learn this is just do them yourself. You can make your own up and do them all day long, and it does become easier and easier the more you do them. So I'm going to do one more example in this, and then we'll move on. So let's have a look. Suitable example. Do this one. So we've got, I'm going to write it like this, AB equals, so I've got 1, 2, 4, 3 times this, 5 minus 3. Okay, so remember what I said in that. So as we go along, we're going to do this times this, and then this times this. So let's have a look. We've got here, we've got 2 times 2, and here we've got 2 times 1. So these agree, so that's good. And then we're going to get a 2 by 1. 2 by 1, so that'll be a column. 2 by 1. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got 1 times 5 plus 1 times 5, 2 times minus 3. 2 times minus 3. So that times that, then that times that. So it's like an L shape, is the way of thinking of it. Go along and down. And then we drop down to the next one and repeat it, that process. Okay? So that's my top, that's going to end up adding up to my top number, my top element. Then we drop down here, we go 4 times 5. So we're back to the top, working down, and we do that all the way if we had more rows. So 4 times 5. So 4 times 5 plus 3 times minus 3. Incidentally, when you're doing these, you start to see a pattern. So these agree, and if it was a bigger a bigger matrix with more elements, the same thing, you'd get the same pattern as you go along. Okay, so that's that part, and that would give me, so 1 times 5, please feel free to do as many steps as you wish. 2 times, that's actually going to be minus, so 2 times minus 3 is going to be minus 6, so minus 6, and this one will be 4 5s is 20, and this will be minus 9. So that will, if I just squeeze that in there, will be minus 1 and 11, plus 11. Okay? So again, it's just practice. I might do another video with some more examples, I think, actually, just for exercise sake. Okay, thank you.